everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today is just going to be a bit of a chatty video. I'm just going to let you know an update, what's gone on and where we are at the moment, and also I'm just going to let you know I had a call with the health visitor and she gave me loads of things, like useful information that I've wrote down here. She was on the phone for about an hour and I wrote down all this information, so I'm going to share it with you all, just in case there's anything that you didn't know that might be helpful before you have your baby as well. So for the first update is Jen will now be 36 weeks on the 11th of September. So she'll be 36 weeks and it's looking like she's getting induced at 38 weeks. She had an appointment and they said that with her having gestational diabetes, they don't normally want to induce over 38 weeks. So it's looking like she will be induced on or around the 25th of September, so not long away at all. We've only got 2 weeks from Saturday until she's induced, so that's flying around very quickly. Also, yeah, I had the call with the health visitor and she went through loads and loads of things, like how to care for the baby and what sort of things that we may like come across with them, things that are helpful that may help us once she's here. And then we had to email the PALS team, which is like not a complaints team, but it's more like a advice team at the hospital, because the midwife told us that, sorry if you can hear streaming, everyone's doing the gardens today because it is like red hot here, so everyone's doing the gardens. Hopefully you can't hear it too much, but yeah, anyway, she told us that at the birth we're allowed 2 people, which is great, and after birth, because of COVID and the amount of infected people that are coming in with COVID, that Jen may just be put on a general ward with the baby and we won't be able to stay at all, which is obviously not the best. I mean, Jen wants her husband Lee at the birth, so she wants him as one of her birth partners, which is completely understandable. She wants him there for the support and also because she has had a few complications like during the pregnancy, so she'd like him there for support, and if God forbid anything went wrong during the birth. So that's understandable. So then me or Adam will be the other birth partner. So that means that one of us won't be at the birth, and then afterwards we're not allowed to stay with the baby either. So we've wrote to the PALS team, just obviously explaining the situation and that one of her parents should be able to stay with her, and that Jen as a surrogate, she should be concentrating on healing and recovering mentally and physically, because it is obviously a new experience and you know, you don't know what you're going to face afterwards. So she wants to, well, I'm guessing she'll be wanting to concentrate on herself and get herself back to normal and everything else, and I doubt that she wants to look after a newborn baby for the night that's not going to be staying with her. And also as her parent, it just doesn't seem right not being with her for that 24 hours. It just doesn't seem right not staying with her. I think that that should be allowed. So anyway, we've wrote to them and they get in touch with the hospital and the staff there, and then they come back and like kind of give us an answer, and then if we want to take it further we can then put a complaint in with the hospital. So we will see what they come back with, but hopefully, you know, one of us will be able to stay with her after the birth and look after her. I mean, they also said that if we don't stay with her we're only allowed to go in at visiting times, which is, again, it's not surrogacy really, is it? Because that's just like a normal pregnancy, what would happen in a normal pregnancy, but they're not kind of taking into account that it is a surrogacy journey, and that obviously the baby should be with someone who she's going to be with full time, because she's going to start bonding from birth with that person. So Anyway, we'll see what they come back with. There's nothing else we can do about that at the moment in time. And then the health visitor rang and she told us loads of things to remember and tips and, you know, certain regulations that they have at this time. And you might find some of these stupid. You might find that some of these unnecessary if you've had more than one child, and you probably think, oh, they advise you all this, but you know, you just do your own thing. And I guess you do. I guess you just do your own thing and get on with what you think and what you feel is best. But I just thought I'd share them with you just in case any of them are helpful, or there's some things that you didn't know that are on here. So the first thing she told us to do was paced feeding, to make sure we don't overfeed, because babies can overfeed when they're on formula. So we won't be obviously breastfeeding. So paced feeding is to obviously take the bottle away, and then if the baby wants it back, to get her to actually suck on the teat to bring the bottle back. So then you're not just, because if you tip it up and leave it at kind of this angle and the milk just keeps dripping out of the teat, then the baby, it hits the back of the baby's throat and their reflex is just taught to swallow. So the more you keep that bottle tipped and it hits the back of the throat, they're just going to keep swallowing and swallowing and swallowing, so they'll just drink whatever you give them. So you can overfeed them when you're formula feeding. So she said to keep the bottle at level, like at a level angle, and not to tip the bottle up. And also, like you say, if she wants it, then she will suck the teat back in, so give her that break in between the feeds as well. Second thing, she told us to wind the baby halfway through the feed as well as at the end, to make sure gas doesn't build up. Again, we'll try this, see if it helps, because we don't want a colicky baby or anything, so if it's going to help, then we'll see. And then after the feed, she also said to keep the baby upright for around 15 minutes if possible, to reduce trapped gas, because if you put them back flat, then obviously things aren't going down, they're just kind of sitting there. The next thing is not to feed the baby hungry formula. You can get like a brand of formula, not a brand, sorry, like a type of formula in every brand that's called Hungry Baby. And she said that this just includes ingredients that is really thick and gloopy, and what it does is it sits on their stomach at the bottom, but because obviously you're tricking them into thinking that they're more full than what they are. So this stuff that sticks at the bottom of the belly anyway, it's not very good for them. So she said, so not to give them Hungry Baby formula, and just to give them more feeds or up the feed if you need to. And also, this is one that I didn't know, she said that you can stay on first infant formula for the first year. So there's first infant formula, there's follow-on milk, and then there's another one, and I think you're supposed to switch, or most people switch to follow-on milk after 6 months. And she said that there's no need to at all. First infant formula is fine for the first year. You don't need to buy any different formula at all. So that's good to know. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it doesn't obviously include much more ingredients than the first one that's beneficial, or obviously you start giving them purees or foods at 6 months, so maybe you're giving them that extra nutrition in foods, right? So you don't need the follow-on milk. I'm not too sure why it is, I'd have to research into it, but yeah, I didn't know that. Another thing that she told me is that to swap arms during feeding, so not always to use your dominant arm. So normally if you hold the baby like this way and you feed with this hand, then for the next feed to feed with this hand instead, so to swap arms every time. Apparently when the baby's on a different side, the head tilts to a different angle, and it helps with their development because they're using different sides of the brain when they're at different sides and different angles. Again, I'm not sure how true this is, but she said that it's one of the recent studies that they've just done. So to switch arms during feeding, so we'll give that a go as well. This is the last kind of thing she told us that we should be doing is to reduce the dummy. So when teeth start coming through, to reduce the time that they have with the dummy, because obviously it can cause dental issues. If they're sucking, the teeth will obviously bend a certain way. And also reduce the dummy when they start to like blabber, like baby talk, because they say that it can delay speech, because you're not kind of encouraging them to talk or to get the words out or anything, because they've constantly got something in the mouth. So that was handy to know as well. Again, don't quote me on these, this is just what the health visitor told us. Don't know how true it is, but these are just some facts that she told us on this side. I hope you're not getting too bored, but this is, she were on the phone for like a good hour, so I was trying to scribble down as much as I could. She sent us loads of videos to watch, so we were watching all them. Half of them scare you to death, because most of them are on like safe sleep and SIDS and everything. So the facts, at 2 weeks old, apparently they have a development stage. So they have a big leap at 2 weeks old. And at 2 to 8 weeks, they cry for quite a long period of time, or more longer than what they have before the 2 weeks. So this happens between 2 to 8 weeks, and she said that it's good to have like a plan of action. So if the baby is going to be crying for a long period of time, like what are you going to do? What are your plans? She said that it is okay. It's not going to harm the baby if you do put them down. If you need to, if you're getting stressed, or you know, if you just need 2 minutes, it's okay to put them down in a safe place, or you know, strap them into the bouncer chair or wherever you want to put them. If they're in a safe place, it's okay to put them down and go grab yourself a drink, go make yourself a drink, or you know, just have 2 minutes. So she said it's good to have a plan of action. Again, I don't know if babies fuss between 2 to 8 weeks, and I'm guessing it differs on different children, but different babies aren't the same. Not all babies are the same, sorry. So we'll see about that. She also let us know that they obviously have the first vaccination at 8 weeks, so that's good to know that that'll be coming up as well. Skin to skin contact is, she said, it is very, very important, because it regulates the heart rate and the temperature of the baby. So when you've got a baby on your skin, it's quite amazing really. So your skin regulates their heart rate and temperature, which is pretty amazing that it can do that. And it also helps to soothe them and calm them down as well. So we'll be doing skin to skin. The first 3 months they can only see black and white. I mean, I did put some black and white books on my Amazon list ready to get. I didn't purchase any up until she told us this, but now I have purchased some. There's like a black and white one that pulls out and you can stand it on the floor, so when they're laid down they can see it. And there's also some black and white crinkly books as well. Like I say, I've just searched black and white books in Amazon, and they're fairly cheap, they're not expensive. But yeah, for the first 3 months apparently they can only see black and white. So, and I think they can only see kind of this far away from the face as well, so you have to get up close to them for them to be able to see you and make out like the outline of your face. So yeah, maybe it's good if you are expecting a baby to buy some black and white books or some black and white activities that they can see or do. And also the last one, you'll be glad to know, is that babies shouldn't wear hats when they're at home. I didn't know this. I've seen a lot of babies in newborn hats, and again, I'm not too sure if it's true. I'd have to research it and everything else, but this is what the health visitor told us. So apart from the hospital, they wear them in the hospital because when they're born they've been in liquid, and when they come out they're wet and they're cold, and they obviously, they're used to being so warm and snuggly and at like body temperature in there, so when they come out they are quite cold, so they do put a hat on them when they're born. But she said that once they come home and everything, it's not advisable to put a hat on them, because apparently it stops them being able to regulate their body temperature, so they don't learn how to regulate the body temperature. So when you put a hat on them, it does warm them up, but it's not teaching them, their bodies, if that's what you mean, if you get what I mean. So it's not teaching their bodies to be able to do it themselves. So yeah, I don't know again how true all this is. I don't know whether it's a bit OTT. If you've probably got children, you probably think, whoa, like this is a bit over the top. You don't need to do all that. My baby survived and we didn't do all this, which is understandable. But yeah, because it's our first, we will be, you know, doing them, see if they work. Might not work. So I just thought I'd share them with you. So I am going to film like a bit of an room organisation video and a baby name video today as well. So I should have 3 new videos coming on, including this one. So I hope you've all enjoyed just a quick chatty video. There's not much of an update, like I say. We'll wait to hear back from pals and see what they say about us staying after birth, but fingers crossed one of us will be able to stay with her. I mean, if not, we'd have to wait the 24 hours. I mean, we can go see her at visiting times, but other than that, we'd have to wait the 24 hours, which isn't ideal. But I will keep you all updated, and yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed the video. If you are new here, please subscribe if you want to follow our journey and obviously meet our baby Willow in the next couple of weeks. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.